Welcome to my channel. My name is Ria and today we're going to talk about the full moon happening in the sign of Aquarius. Full moons are ending points, they bring completions, they bring closures, they are the peak of an energy. They are a point where emotions tend to run high because the moon and the sun, the moon represents our emotions and the sun represents our soul. They are in opposition, so emotions tend to run high on a full moon. This full moon is in the sign of Aquarius. You can see this at 27 degrees. So Aquarian themes can be highlighted on a global level, on a collective level. Aquarius is the sign of the future. It's a very futuristic sign. It's about technology. It's about advancement. It's about breaking free from tradition, from the systems. It's about the people. It's about rebellion as well. So these are the big themes that can be coming up. The next thing I want to talk about are the aspects, right? But before we get into that, I just want to say that this is an important full moon. This is an intense full moon. It's a powerful one. And let's talk about why. So the first reason is that this moon is in a square to Uranus. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is about the future, like the sign of Aquarius. It's futuristic, it's unpredictable, it's about breaking free, it's about being authentic, it's about being unique, it's about embracing that uniqueness, right? Uranus is also sudden, it's unpredictable, and in that sense, what this can bring is this unpredictable energy. With Uranus, what we can expect is the unexpected, right? That's the key with Uranus. Expect the unexpected. And this is a square 90-degree angle, which means that it's a challenging aspect, which means that it's going to ask us to go beyond our comfort zone. It's going to ask us to grow. It's going to ask us to evolve. It's going to ask us to do things that might not feel comfortable at first, but that are necessary to reach the next stage of growth, to reach the next stage of evolution, right? So that's what this energy is bringing in a nutshell. Now, Uranus is also a lot of energy at once and then nothing. A lot of energy at once and then nothing. And in that sense, since it's aspecting the moon, which is our emotions, it can feel like a little overwhelming, right? So what we must do is just keep calm, keep ourselves calm, not get overly excitable or stressed or overwhelmed, right? Because Uranus is a lot of energy and it's impacting our emotions. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to say is that we have this full moon in Aquarius where we have Pluto now, right? Pluto changed signs recently. Pluto is extremely slow. It takes very long to go around the zodiac. So for Pluto to change signs, it's a very long cycle. And let's talk about Pluto a little bit and the sign of Aquarius, because I feel that's important since this is a full moon in Aquarius. Pluto is the planet that brings immense transformation from the inside out. It is a very heavy energy. It brings a complete reset to something, right? It lets go of the old in a big way and the new starts to come up. Now, if you guys have been watching me, you know that Pluto entered the sign of Aquarius March 2023 for the first time after 15 years or so, because Pluto was in Capricorn since 2008 for a good 15-16 years, and last March 2023 it entered Aquarius. Then in June it went back into Capricorn, and then January 2024 it entered Aquarius. But now in the month of September, it will go back into Capricorn for the final time before it moves into Aquarius for good in the month of November. And why is this important? It's important because big themes in our lives are changing, right? That's the backdrop. That's the backdrop of the energy. Because this moon, we'll have another full moon next month, right? But what's the baseline? What's the backdrop? One of the backdrops is this Pluto in Aquarius energy. Since March 2023, we are seeing glimpses. We are seeing glimpses of the themes that the next almost 2 decades will bring for us, because Pluto is going to be here for almost 2 decades, in the sign of Aquarius. right? So it's bringing those themes for us. So think about it. What started March 2023? So we've got glimpses of the themes that will be important in the Pluto and Aquarius cycle, but we are still not done with Capricorn. And what that means is that themes from 2008 to 2023 are still not fully closed out. Think of it this way. We are closing one chapter and we are starting one simultaneously. It's not that we've closed one chapter and started another one. So we've been in this energy of change, energy of transformation, energy of closing the past, speaking of Pluto specifically 2008 to 2023, even 2024, and beginning another new cycle for the next 2 decades almost from 2023 March onwards. And this moon is in Aquarius. So it is bringing up those themes, right? It could be bringing up those themes in a big way, because this is the first time we had the new moon in Aquarius with Pluto there, right? So it could be a milestone in the themes that have started for us related to Pluto since 2023. And how can you identify those themes? Let me give some tips about that, because it's not easy to identify like this. I would say think of the big changes that have happened since March 2023, right? Think of the big changes, big themes. That's what is potentially related to Pluto in your life. I'm saying potentially because it may not be necessary. We're all made up of different energies. We have different transits, different aspects going on. So it could be related to a personal thing, but generally speaking, the big themes that are transitioning in your life since then, pay attention to those. Most likely, those are the themes that will be highlighted in the future. And this is the full moon in Aquarius, so a milestone point for those themes. Speaking of Pluto, let's just say that it will go back into Capricorn September to November, and finally we will be closing out a lot of old things, a lot of old themes in our lives. And in the month of June and July, we had 2 full moons in Capricorn, right? So we did a lot of closing out then. We did a lot of release of the past, letting go of the past, especially 2008 to 2023 past. We did a lot of that. And now, next September to November, we'll be doing the final closing out. So in that sense, this is a very important moon, since it is in the sign of Aquarius and Pluto is there. Now, moving on to other things, let's talk about the fact that we have Saturn here, and we have Venus here, and we have Jupiter here, and Mars is also in the mix, but Mars has moved on. We are already over that energy. Saturn is opposing Venus. Saturn, Jupiter is squaring Venus, right? So there are 3 energies involved, and Mars was involved as well, and now it's moved on. And what does all this mean? So let's break it down. We have Saturn here retrograde in the sign of Pisces, right? It's bringing up themes we've already seen because it's going backwards. Retrograde, it's bringing up themes we've already seen in the past few months, asking us to review those, asking us to, make those themes better, asking us to revisit those themes so that we can make them better. And we have Venus here that just opposed Saturn. Saturn is serious. It's about decisions. It's about commitments. It's about doing things for the long run. It's a serious energy. I would say, personally, in my opinion, I would say Pluto is the heavy energy and Saturn is the serious energy. Right? So with Saturn, things get serious. It says, do this seriously. And Venus is our relationships. It's our finances. It's our self-worth. It's our appearance. It's all these things. Right? So Saturn, with its opposition to Venus, which has already happened by the time we reach this full moon point, is asking for a serious decision, commitment, plan connected to our financial matters or relationships or self-worth, So it's asking us to work on these areas. It's asking us to do what needs to be done. That's the best way to put Saturn. Saturn comes into a sign or a house and it says, you must do what needs to be done. And in this case, it's saying, you must do what needs to be done connected to your relationships, connected to your finances, connected to your appearances, connected to your self-worth. You must do what needs to be done. And with Saturn, feelings are not important, right? With Saturn, feelings are not important. And usually this energy of Saturn does not feel good. But in Vedic astrology, right, Saturn and Venus are friends. And I've thought about why they are friends, and it just occurred to me during this video, so I want to share that. I feel they're friends because Saturn is hard work, it's discipline, it's decisions, it's commitments, it's for the long run. And if you think about what Venus is, right, on the surface Venus seems very glamorous and luxurious, right? But for luxury, for art, for beauty, for a relationship, for finances, for self-worth, all these require hard work. All these require discipline. All these require decisions, right? All these require things that Saturn instills in us. So in that sense, I feel that if we look at it that way, that may change our perspective. This is just my opinion, and I just wanted to share it because I just got this insight while thinking about this. So there is that aspect going on, right? And we also have Jupiter in the mix. One second. Jupiter is there squaring Saturn. It's almost about to happen, right? And we have Venus that has just squared Jupiter as well. Now Saturn, while it's all these things, it's limiting as well, right? Because it asks us to focus on one thing. It asks us to focus on what we're serious about. So in that sense, it's limiting. Jupiter is different. Jupiter is about expansion. It's about everything. It's about a lot. It's about growth. It's about wisdom, right? And for wisdom, you need to experience and explore so many different things. That's Jupiter. So in that sense, there's this contradictory energy in a way where we feel like there are a lot of options, where we feel like there's a lot of areas, and there might be because Jupiter is there, but Saturn's saying, decide, pick one, be serious, plan for the future now, right? So there's this energy going on. And with Saturn and Jupiter, the last time, I don't want to say the last time they made an important aspect, they met up in 2020, right? They met up in 2020 and now they're at their square point, right? The first square point. And what this means to me is that themes from 2020 are coming back up in some way, right? Whatever those themes are, they're coming back up. So think of December 2020 specifically, because that's when they met. Themes from then are coming back. Think about how your life changed. Think about what happened at that time. Think about the changes that were taking place, because this is an important milestone point in those changes. In the changes, the different themes that started for us December 2020. So I just wanted to mention that those themes are coming up as well. And Saturn here is telling us do what needs to be done, connected to relationships, projects, finances, self-worth, values, skills. And think for the long run. You might have options. You might have a lot of things to explore, right? But even if you want to explore all those themes, think how they will pan out in the long run. So there's this energy going on in the background as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that Mercury is retrograde. It's been retrograde for about 2 weeks now and will continue to be retrograde till almost the end of this month. That's Mercury, and you can see it sitting next to the Sun. Mercury retrogrades are generally not the best time to start something brand new, communication related, whether that's a marketing project or signing a contract. It's also a time period where gadgets can malfunction and communication can feel a little slow. So since about 2 weeks, we could have felt a slight slowdown in communication related things. It could have asked us to go back and revisit something that we were working on previously, connected to where Mercury is retrograding in your charts, if you know your charts, and also communication related things. For example, if you're working on a marketing project, right? In the past 2 weeks, you could have started to review that project again, right? Review how to make it better, review what needs to be done, that sort of thing. And if you look at the chart, Mercury just met up with the Sun, right? And in its retrograde motion, this can bring insights, this can bring realizations, this can bring messages, this can bring epiphanies. And this can be a turning point, so to speak, right? We can finally receive that piece of communication or that message or that insight can come through. We can solve that piece of the puzzle through an insight that we might have been searching for. So that's the sort of energy when Mercury meets up with the Sun in its retrograde motion. So I just wanted to touch upon that. And on this moon, right, we do have Mercury retrograde. We do have that. We have Saturn retrograde, Neptune, Chiron's retrograde, Pluto is retrograde. And if you recall, beginning of the year, first few months, all planets were direct. Which means first few months of this year, things moved fast. We set the base for a lot of new things, for a lot of projects, maybe personal things, new things. But now with the retrogrades, the pace could have slowed down. Now we are kind of taking what we started or worked on beginning of the year and we are making it better. We are growing it. We are figuring out where we went wrong the first time. So that's what can be happening. And this can feel a little slow because, you know, when we do something that we've done previously or when we revisit something that we've already worked on, the perception is things have slowed down. And if you think of retrograde is the perception of the planet moving backwards. It's not actually moving backwards, right? It's the perception from the Earth's perspective. So if we change how we view a retrograde, if we say, okay, it's not about feeling stuck, it's not about, like things not moving, it's more about time to really reflect and review how we can make what we started better. And without making it better, we cannot reach the next stage of growth. So that's how I look at retrogrades. Because sometimes it can feel slow. It can feel like things are not moving. It can feel like, why do I have to go back to these things I've already done before, right? Why do I need to keep looking at this? Like, what's happening? So I've adopted that mindset where I say, okay, there's a reason. I need to review it, reflect it. There's something missing that I didn't figure out the first time. And now I have a chance. I have time to do it so that we can reach the next stage of growth when the planet moves direct. So that's also there on the moon, right? A lot of retrograde energy. So we can feel like a lot of the things that we started are coming back up. And usually when planets like Mercury, Venus, and Mars go retrograde, the feeling of things feeling slow magnifies. So just keep that in mind, but it's not going to be very long before Mercury goes direct, another 8-10 days, and we'll see Mercury go direct. So that's the moon in a nutshell, and I'll sum it up. This moon can be unpredictable. This moon can bring unexpected things. So what we must do is expect the unexpected. Messages, communication, insights, realizations are all possible around the full moon time. It's also asking us, with the Saturn-Venus aspect and Jupiter in the mix, we're also being asked to do what needs to be done connected to relationships, projects, financial matters, self-worth, values, skills, appearances, right? There's a lot of expansive energy, but there's a lot of restrictive energy as well. So just keep that in mind. Overall, I would say this is an important moon. It's in the sign of Aquarius. Pluto is there. Pluto has just moved in, and